Hey guys, this is DEBojyoti here with a series of photography tutorial. Let's get started. So, what is photography? Call it vision, imagination or seeing. All it comes down to the same thing. One's envision to the mind's eye to produce a final image with the help of the machine called DSLR. Photography and painting are almost the same thing. Now you would ask why? Photography and painting both renders formation of imagination into an image, but there is a difference. Photography, you need a subject, object or a real life thing, but for painters, they can completely do it with their imagination. So, are you a cameraman or a photographer? Well, both cameraman and photographer takes images. Precisely they are the same, but no, technically they are not. Because a cameraman is desperate in seeking with his little or no knowledge, whereas a photographer is a pro. He is full of knowledge, skill and ability and is desperate to capture. Do you know what is this? This is the world's most compact, tiny digital camera, Digicam. And now you ask that why to buy a DSLR with a higher price range instead of that, when one can take images with that also and also with the DSLR? Well, I have the answer. With DSLR like this, you can completely control what you are taking. Well, with DSLR you can take high quality images. You can take photos at the night, which is very difficult in those Digicam. You can't take all the pictures, you will get blurry and full of noise. With DSLR, your problem is solved. And with the DSLR, you can change manually all the constraints that how a light is entering and how your frame can be. But in the digital camera, you can't do that. And it contains interchangeable lenses. See, I can change the lens. Changing the lens gives you a better flexibility of doing a much better photography as per your requirements. You can go to different genre of photography like street photography, wildlife photography, portrait and etc, whatever you want to with the variety of lenses. Oh, hi! This is DEBojyoti back again with the next part of the tutorial. So, basically today I will teach you how to use the manual mode, which consists of shutter, ISO and aperture. So let's get started. Shutter speed. We can see that we have a shutter speed of 125, which means it clicks a photo of 1/25th of a second. So we can increase the shutter by rolling this button and decrease by the same way, left or right, as may be your purpose. So a higher shutter speed will give you a blackish image and will help you to capture fast moving objects very easily. A faster shutter speed will give a darker image and less blur, whereas a slower shutter speed will give a bright image with more blur. So let's have a look in the shutter, what actually a shutter is, while I have been speaking so much of shutter speed. As we open the lens of the DSLR, we get to see a small mirror kind of curtain which is covering the image sensor behind. It's called the shutter. It goes up for a very short span of time, letting light enter the sensor, forming an image. So here we go. And a slower shutter speed will just look like this. Much slower will look like this. Now let's talk about aperture. What is aperture? So basically F, the digit which is represented after F is the aperture. Now the question is, what is aperture? Aperture is nothing but a small set of blades in the lens which is controlling the amount of light entering the DSLR. Different lenses have different the aperture values, and one should choose the perfect lens for their specific purposes. For example, we have an aperture value of 3.5, which is maximum for this lens. We are getting a brighter image, but as we move to the right, increase the aperture value, the image gets darker, and we can see the change in the video itself. Now, what is ISO? ISO is the sensitivity scale of the depth of noise in a processed image. Now, let me show you. A higher ISO has lots of noise, that is grains, which is not good for the image, whereas a lower ISO have less grains and hence less noise, produces a better image. So always avoid a higher ISO. As you can see, a higher ISO is producing a brighter image, but the image is full of grains and the image is losing the details. That is the world, which is having some carvings in it. As you can see, it's becoming prominent as I reduce the ISO. Well, my friends, all the three constraints, aperture, shutter speed and ISO, are interlinked with each other, and all the three have some merits and demerits. The aperture controls the depth of field, and the shutter speed controls the motion blur, and ISO controls the image noise. Some test and trial and some permutation combination is required to get the desired shots as per the requirements. Well, don't worry, I will be speaking about that in my next tutorial videos. Stay tuned, I'll be right back.